morning once again. I'm Teacher Bernard Ochieng, teacher of chemistry. In our last lesson, we learned some bit of electrochemistry, and to recap of what we learned yesterday, in our last lesson, we learned that indeed electric current can be passed when a cell, an electrochemical cell is set up. There is some current that is passing, which is shown by the deflection of the voltmeter. We also learned that indeed, when you dip a metal into its own solution, possibly 1 molar solution, there is a building up of electrons on that particular electrode, and indeed, from there, we also discussed that when these electrons that are building up here, when they build up around the electrode there, the quantity of electrons that are building up here depends from one metal to the next, to the other, and it also depends the activity of a metal. The ones that are more reactive always produce more electrons than the ones that are least reactive. We also agreed that if you connect the two half cells, using external wire and a voltmeter, you need to have a salt bridge, and as we agreed that salt bridge serves two purposes. One, it completes the circuit. Two, it also balances the charges in the two half cells. That is the main role of the salt bridge. Today, we are also going to learn of how to get a cell notation. A cell notation from a cell that from a complete cell. Like yesterday, we learned that if this is zinc ion half cell, and this is our copper ion half cell, we came up with the ionic equation that is occurring in this half cell that undergoes oxidation, and this half cell that undergoes reduction. And indeed, if you look at this reaction, we see that zinc from the electrode goes to the solution, forms zinc ions, like that, in aqueous state, by releasing the two electrons. And we see that the electrons are the ones that are flowing through the connecting wire, and it makes the voltmeter to deflect. And we also agreed that these electrons that flow through the connecting wire also build up, in the copper ion half cell, and these copper ions in the solution, they pick the electrons that are building up here, and when they pick the electrons, the copper ions in aqueous state, they pick the electrons that flow through the connecting wire to form copper the solid, and that leads us to the solution that we made in our previous lesson, that indeed the copper ions that make the solution to appear blue will make this solution, the electrolyte, now to fade. The color will turn from blue to colorless because the copper ions are being depleted from the solution. And then again, we also agreed that indeed the mass of the copper electrode will also increase due to the deposition of copper atoms. And then we also agreed that in this case here, because zinc atoms goes to the solution, it is therefore follows that the zinc electrode will wear out with time. So the solution that will be made here with time, that the zinc electrode will wear out with time. Today we want to look at first how do we come up with the ionic equation for this reaction, this particular cell. We realize that zinc solid, it loses electrons, it becomes oxidized, and these electrons are picked by copper ions in aqueous state. Once they are picked by copper ions, the zinc forms zinc ions in aqueous state, plus copper. Now copper being reduced, it picks the electrons to form copper atoms, and this now forms the ionic equation, copper solid. This is the ionic equation for this particular half cell. Now the question is, how do we come up with the cell notation for this particular electrochemical cell? In this half cell, we have agreed that zinc is going to solution to form zinc ions. And then again, in this particular half cell, the copper ions are accepting the electrons to form copper solid. So if you were to look at what is happening here, we know that zinc, indeed, zinc goes solution to form zinc ions like this. This is zinc solid, goes solution to form zinc ions. This vertical sign represents a phase boundary where the potential difference is developed. Indeed, if you look at this zinc solid and this zinc aqueous, so there's that boundary, that phase boundary is represented by this vertical line. And then this is exactly what is happening in this particular half cell. And then we have the salt bridge. The salt bridge is represented by a double line. And then, after a double line, the electrons that are lost here by zinc to form zinc ions are accepted by copper ions. So, in this half cell, copper ions in aqueous state accept the electrons to form copper solid. Copper solid. When we write it like this, this represents, this is what we call a cell notation, or what we call a cell diagram to this particular electrochemical cell. Sometimes we also accompany it with the electromotive force of the cell. I say that the electromotive force is the difference in the electrode potentials of the two half cells. The difference in the electrode potential of the two half cells, which is reflected in the voltmeter, we can as well accompany it. Like yesterday, we had our voltmeter reading 0.5. Now we write here positive 0.50 volts. This is what we call a cell notation or cell diagram. This is what we call ionic equation for the diagram for the electrochemical cell. Again, we want to learn something to do with the standard electrode potential. When we talk about standard electrode potential, we are using hydrogen half cell as a reference half cell. In this case here, this is the value that we obtained here. This value here is not the standard potential for zinc, because we have used copper in this case as the cell that we are referring to the zinc. But in the case when you use hydrogen half cell as part of the cell, then we come up with the standard hydrogen potential. Now, there are some conditions, the conditions that has to be there, the standard conditions that has to be there for us to obtain the standard electrode potential. One, the solution, the temperature must be 25 degrees, that is room temperature, and then the solution should be 1 molar. The solution that you want to put the platinum, as I'm going to explain to you, must be 1 molar, and then from there we need to use platinum as an electrode. Platinum is used because first it's inert, two, it can easily adsorb hydrogen, as I'm going to explain in the hydrogen half cell. Now, and the pressure of the gas must be of 1 atmosphere. What do we mean by hydrogen half cell? Hydrogen is a gas. You see a gas, you cannot form an electrode with a gas, and therefore we need platinum. And the reason why platinum is used, as I've mentioned, it is inert. Two, it provides large surface area for the adsorption of hydrogen gas onto it. So, what do we mean by this hydrogen half cell? We have this kind of a setup where we have the hydrogen coming in at 1 atmosphere, 1 hydrogen gas coming in at 1 atmosphere, and then we have the connecting wire. This connecting wire is attached to the platinized platinum, like that, and then it is dipped into 1 molar solution, 1 molar acid, such that we have this kind of a setup. The solution here is 1 molar acid, 1 molar acid, 1 molar acid, like that. So this represents, and this is platinized platinum, platinized platinum. The reason why we are using platinized platinum is because First, it is an inert electrode. Two, it allows it wide light surface area for the adsorption of hydrogen gas onto its surface. I'm referring to adsorption. So this hydrogen half cell, if it is connected to another half cell, it forms a complete cell. And whatever is obtained from hydrogen half cell, the value that is obtained from the deflection is assumed to be standard electrical potential of that particular element, as we shall see in our next lesson. Thank you.